Is it hard to be fresh if you don't have money, or can you still pull it off?
See, when I ain't had no money, I still had sauce. See, if you don't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another video. We're just here chilling in the shop as always. Hot as hell, right, man? A little hot, but we're still making it happen. Right now I am wiring VTEC, or I'm about to wire VTEC on a swap that Gio did like a couple weeks ago. Customer came back and he wanted to add some VTEC, wanted to go fast. So we're gonna go ahead and wire in the VTEC. He doesn't have the ECU yet, but we're just gonna go ahead and wire it in. Then once he gets the ECU, he can just put it in and start cracking good old VTEC. So I'm gonna go ahead and wire that. That is a very easy process. I just run one wire down to the ECU, and there's a pin out. Can't remember which one it is. I'll just have to look it up real fast. Wire it to that pin out, and that's pretty much it. There's also an option if you want to run the pressure switch, the high pressure switch, but you don't need to. Most JDM motors don't actually come with a VTEC pressure switch, because the Japanese are obviously smart enough not to crack VTEC when you're low on oil. Not a good idea. But anyways, we're just gonna go ahead and wire in the solenoid, get that to the ECU. That way when it gets a chipped ECU or Honda, it's just ready to plug in and go ahead and crack that VTEC. So go ahead and get that done. That shouldn't take me very long, probably just a few moments. And what are you working on? You got this Accord. You're putting taking the cam out, right?
Yeah, taking the cam out, swapping it over, and see it doesn't tick anymore.
Yeah, it had like a bad chatter.
Yeah, it's bad, very bad.
So
I think the cam might be wore out or something.
Yeah, that's what it was looking like. So he got another cam. He's gonna throw that in. Once I'm finished with this, I gotta go run a couple errands. I gotta pick up some parts, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna go ahead and assemble the D16 head for this build. This is the bone stock to fully built. We're gonna go ahead and work on this a little bit. I got the pistons in. I'm just waiting on the bearings and so forth. So once I get that, I can put the crank in and have this guy all nice and finished. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then by that time, it'll probably be time to go. So get that done, pick up some parts, come back, put the head together, and we'll be good. So let's get to it. Just went ahead and got this wired in here. What I always do is I always get rid of the connector here. I think it looks absolutely hideous. And I run a connector down near where the ECU is. So what I'll do is I'll get a butt connector that disconnects, that's reusable. I'll cut this wire here, and then I'll wire into the ECU. That way, if the customer ever wants to pull the engine again, or if we have to pull it or something, I can just unplug it and I don't have to rewire anything. It's just basically plug and play. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna first go ahead and look up what exact pin it is, then we can get it pinned, and then we can add in that butt connector here. All right, so it is A4. I don't remember why I forgot, or obviously I don't remember why I forgot that, but there's just so much stuff to remember when it comes to wiring. I used to have all the injectors and all that stuff memorized, but now that I'm getting older, I just can't keep that stuff memorized in my brain. So it is helpful to write it down or just look up a schematic. It's super easy. All that stuff is online. So it is A4, and the A4 is going to be located right here. Obviously A4 is going to be on an A plug. If your car did not have VTEC, it makes it a little easier because it's just one of the ones that does not have a plug in it. You'll see over here you got a yellow wire. This is an OBD1 car, so you got a yellow wire here, and then you also got a orange and black wire. So right there in the middle is where it's going to go. I went ahead and pulled a wire out of an old wiring harness. That way I could just use that same plug and put it in there. And we can add our butt connector to this one. Bam, went ahead and got that connected. It is in, and then as I said, I was gonna put in a butt connector that could release. This one pulls out, so that way if we go to swap the engine or anything, we can literally just take this right out and then pull it out with the engine. A lot of times you'll see people put these butt connectors right here in the engine bay. But like I was saying before, I think it looks way cleaner like that, where there's no butt connector and it's just one single wire going to it. So again, just a quick recap what we did. Ran the wire, used a butt connector. We used one of these spade clips from another wiring harness that I had, and then we put it into A4, so it's down here. Now, this vehicle, if this was a chipped P28 or a chipped ECU, and the pressure sensor was disconnected, ECU or the VTEC would engage now. That is all you need to do to wire in VTEC to the solenoid to get VTEC to crack. Also, when you're putting this wire in here, make sure that you hear it click, because if you don't hear it click, it'll literally just pull right out the pins on the ECU. Once you're putting it in, it'll push it out, and then your VTEC won't crack. So that is in. I'm gonna go ahead real fast and run those errands that I was telling you guys I got to do earlier. It's like 4 o'clock right now. Just customers came and things come up and answer the phone. And if you've ever ran a business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and run those errands. If I get back in time, I'm gonna go ahead and start on that head. Alrighty guys, so it is the next day. Got kind of caught up doing some stuff yesterday, but now we're gonna go ahead and get on this head. Customer brought some springs and retainers, the ones that I always use, the BCs. We got all this nice stuff in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. He also got the stage 2 tuner cam, or the turbo cam, the one that I highly recommend, the one that I use on mine as well. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that sucker in. And we are going to use the stock cam gear. We are gonna have to get another one because this one actually has a crack on it. You can see right there, it's gonna crack. So we are not gonna use that. Good thing I have another one. I have like 5 of them. So we're gonna put a new one on and get this all done. So we just got this back from the machine shop. Show you guys the bottom of it. It's looking all nice and pretty. Everything checked out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this head built and get this complete. As you guys saw yesterday, I have the pistons already in the Glock. We are just waiting on the bearings for the crank and the thrust washers and so forth. So once those get here, we'll get that together, and we just got to throw it on. So don't got too much more for the engine, and then we got good old Gio over here. We'll go ahead and throw it in the car, and then get the turbo kit on, get everything on, and we'll get her on the dyno and make some power. But until then, let me go ahead and get onto this. So I just went ahead and finished the exhaust side, went ahead and seated the valves, and then I went ahead and installed these new valve seals. Looking all nice and good. I made sure it's soaked in oil, that way they aren't drubbing rye, going raw dog in it. All nice and good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get the springs on this side, and then I'll go ahead and turn and do that side. I always do it in sections, so I do the exhaust first, and then I do the intake after. That way I don't have a whole bunch of parts everywhere and whatnot. It just makes it easier, makes it cleaner. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and put them on, and we will do the same thing on the opposite side. About halfway done with doing the exhaust, and I just want to show you guys a quick couple tricks that I don't think I've showed you guys before. First thing is when you are going to compress the spring. Now there's multiple different ways to do it. Some people get a socket, they cut it in half, and that way you can press it down, and then you can put the keys in. I know there's a tool for B series, because I've had it before, where you can attach it to the side of the head, and it like cranks down and puts pressure on it. So that way you can get the keys in yourself. But for single cam, I'm pretty sure there's not anything. There might be a tool now that I'm not sure of, but we went ahead and made one. Brian actually made this a long time ago. It makes it a lot easier. I know it looks bad. This is when he first started welding. What you do is it's easiest with 2 people. You can put it right here, press down, and then make sure that those keys stay in place. This makes it a lot easier. Also, you always want to put a rag or put something underneath. A rag is always the best thing. I was doing this one last, so you can see a rag is there, because if not, the valve will actually move. See how that one moves down? There's nothing underneath it. The valve will move a little bit inside that chamber, and you're trying to press down. If this moves, then you got to press down even farther to be able to get the keys on it. So this makes it a little bit easier when you're doing this. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this, then I got to go head out to the machine shop. Our exhaust side is finished. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn the head around and do the same exact thing. I had to take a quick break. As you can see here in the office, Alyssa went ahead, or I had to go across the street to the rental place and get a floor sander. You can see Alyssa's in there. She has no idea I'm recording her. But anyways, she had to get a floor sander to get all the crap off the floor. So that took some time. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this around, go ahead and get to work, and I'm gonna finish that side. So before I go ahead and start on this side, I just want to show you another project that we are working on. It's up here on the lift, so it's kind of hard to see, but It is a EK hatch. It's actually a 2000, so this is like the most desired. It's my favorite color. It is a white hatch, super clean. The guy picked this up, what do you say, like $2 grand, right?
$2 grand.
Yeah, he picked it up for $2,000, which is like an absolute steal nowadays, for sure. So we're actually doing the same thing that you guys, or that we're doing right now to the EK coupe. We're going to be doing a full teardown, same engine. It's a Y8. The customer brought all the parts, but this one he brought all Skunk 2 parts. So this customer, for the one that we're working on right now, he brought all BC parts, and then this guy brought all Skunk 2 parts. So we're gonna see how they both perform. Obviously, they're both great companies. They make great parts. So we're gonna see if there's any difference. This customer also got the BC cam. The other guy got the Skunk 2 cam. So this should be pretty cool to see them both next to each other. And they're pretty much gonna probably be done in around the same time frame. So it'll be pretty relevant. So anyways, he's gonna go ahead and take out that motor so I can get it tore down and taken to the machine shop. And I'm gonna continue working on this head here. So let me get to it. It's finished, complete, and ready to go. I'm still waiting on the bearings. So once I get the bearings, I can go ahead, slap it in, and this thing will be done. This engine will be ready to go. We'll go ahead and throw her in. I still gotta paint the engine bay. So I think the bearings should probably be here in 3 or 4 days. So I'm gonna try to go ahead and paint that engine bay tonight. Get that done, because I know it's gonna take at least 2 or 3 days to just dry out and everything. So I'm gonna do that in the meantime. Probably won't record that. Won't bore you guys with painting a couple engine bays and videos, but we'll probably pick back up on this once the engine is all assembled and complete, and then we'll record Gio going ahead and throwing it into the car. But he's just going ahead and pulling that engine out, and then basically gonna do the same thing. Repeat, take that one apart, send it to the machine shop, and then just do the same thing with it. But I'm gonna go ahead and call the video here. I need to go to my house because I need to chip, or I need to put Honda into an ECU, and then I also need to chip an ECU for Chrome. So go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and call it here. Until next time, guys, go ahead and like and subscribe. Oh, actually, let me show you guys the process on the office. Shop is a mess. We took everything out of the office to put it in here. So Alyssa's chucking away at these floors. We rented a sander earlier. Right across the street there is a rental place, so we went ahead, shout out to them. We went ahead and used a sander from them and got all this paint and everything off the floor. So we're gonna go ahead and get this up, and then Alyssa's gonna go ahead and paint the floor. We ordered a bunch of furniture, or like office furniture, like a stand-up counter and stuff to hang up on the wall. So it'll be cool. I'll show you guys that when it's done. But as always, guys, go ahead and like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Is it hard to be fresh if you don't have money, or can you still pull it off?
See, when I ain't had no money, I still had sauce. See, if you don't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce.